Hello Reborners, my name is Karen and this is Making Dolls with Karen. I was just talking in the last video I made about what it costs to make a doll, and so I've made this, I make one on every doll I make, and it's a spreadsheet. And what it does is it breaks down all the expenses for making a doll. And I tried to think of everything that a person would use in order to make a doll and what this particular doll costs to make. And so we're going to go over some of these things. As you can see, I have the kit, the body, the eyes or lashes, the polyfill, the glass, the paint, the Exodus oil, the paint thinner, scent wafers, pacifiers, plugs and rings, everything you can possibly think of to make a doll is listed down here. And on some of the things, I put down the actual invoice number so it could be referenced easily if I did get audited. The most expensive things like the kits and stuff. Like, for this is Anna Awake, and I have down her kit was $24.48. Bought it on sale. Her body was $9.97. And then like eyes and lashes, they can range from very, very expensive to very, very cheap. And I use a sort of cheaper end. And even if they cost more than this, I just put down $5.99 for that. Polyfill, I put down $7. Polyfill's quite expensive too, and I use a lot of it. Glass, I scientifically, I scientifically figured out how much glass I use. I buy it in a 50-pound bucket, and then I brought it home and I made, let's see if I can reach one. I used one whole bucket to make these little bags, and this is how much glass I put in the body of my doll. This is any size doll. I used my scale. I have a baby scale, and I used it to measure. I wanted my dolls to be between 4 and 5 pounds, and that's what they come out to, as long as you're not putting extreme amounts or tiny bits of glass into them. You're going to fill up the limbs at least up to the elbow. I go a little higher. I go about to right there, and then I stuff it the rest of the way with polyfill. And, and then you do the little bag. And so I have one bucket of glass that I made up the bags with, and the other bucket I used to fill the limbs and the loose glass that's not going to be in bags. And I figured up that it costs around $12, $13 per doll for glass. And then paint. You use a lot of paint. And this counts sealers, paint thinners, mediums, all the mediums you use, like thinning medium and, all those things. Every color you use, I figured up that it would probably be equal to one little jar of paint. All the colors, every bit of it, including the thinning medium and the sealer and all that, all together. And so I put down the price of one little jar of paint, which is about $11.95. And then the Exodus oil, this time I got this great big one. But last time I got one that was half this size because, well, it didn't seem like I'd used that much, and I used way more than I thought. But, I just put down like $1 for, $1.99 for Exodus oil because it's expensive too. That's expensive. And I use a generous amount. And then paint thinner, I put down $3. It's not, it's not super expensive, but every single jar has got a good little bit of paint thinner in it. And if you use little scent wafers, I just put down $1 for that, And if you're going to provide a magnetic pacifier, and if you buy the already made up pacifiers, it's a little more expensive. These are just a little more expensive than the kind you make yourself, but they've already got the magnet in them. But if you're making your own, you have to buy the pacifiers, you have to buy the little magnet to go on here, you have to have some kind of felt to go over the top. All this stuff costs money. This is stuff you don't just have laying around your house. You have to go out and buy it. And then you have to have the bigger magnets like the ones I have over here to go inside the doll's head. And I put down $10. It's going to cost you $10 Either way you go, at least $10 to make a pacifier or buy a ready-made one. And the magnets cost money too. Plus the glue. I use 3 or 4 different kinds of glue. Glue costs money too. All that stuff costs. And you're thinking, what is it, a penny? Well, it's not. It's not a penny. And then I put down what I call supplies. It's things that you can't really determine how much exactly you use, like the Eileen's paper glaze. I have Eileen's tacky glue. I have 2 kinds of super glue. I have hot glue. I have E6000. Eileen's, Eileen's paper glaze. I have all kinds of different glues that I use. And other things too, swabs and toothpicks. You can't determine, okay, I used 4 cents worth of toothpicks or 2 pennies worth of swabs or this many little throwaway. It's just too hard. Then you have things like the toothbrush you use when you brush the baby's hair when you're rooting them. All your different kinds of scissors and clippers and hemostats and all those things you buy to help you make dolls better. Tape to tape up the boxes. Whatever you buy. Paintbrushes. It's just a long, long list. I have a different paper that lists everything I could think of that I possibly buy in supplies. And I just put down a nominal little fee on there for that stuff because it's so much stuff. It is a lot of stuff. The page is at least as long as this page, and it's just a breakdown of what the supplies are. And then I put a price down for extras that you throw in the box, like maybe if you gave them socks and shoes and bows and all those things, I call those extras. A blanket, pacifier clip, anything you supply in the box for an extra. And then there's the outfit you put the baby in. That includes the diaper cover if you put one on them, the outfit, whatever the outfit costs, and they cost. Believe me, they cost. And then if you supply an extra outfit, you have to put that down too. And then everything you order has shipping on it. So I just put a little nominal fee of $6 for shipping on anything that I ordered on this sheet. It might have been $5 here, $7 there, $2 here, because everything, you might order enough for $12. It's not fair to put the entire shipping down for that, And then shipping that you have to pay also for things that you ship. Most of the time you charge the customer for the shipping, but sometimes you don't under certain circumstances. And there's just hundreds of little things, like these little bottles. Yeah, everything is real cheap. But when you start really adding up all these things, you're spending a lot more money than you think you are. There's just things everywhere that you're going to buy to help you make dolls better. And all these things are costing you money. That's why I use as many free things as I can. Because just for Anna, to make this one doll right here, my list of things comes to $267. And people are going, no way. Start writing it down. You'll see. And then down at the bottom down here, this is where I break down how much I sold the doll for. I have the price of the doll, the shipping, the tax, and if there was any other fees that, like if you sell a doll overseas, there's 2 other fees they add to it. I don't even know what they are. They call them something, but, and then over here's the breakdown. It's the total of what this is. And then they take back off the shipping and the tax, and they take off the transaction fee and the ad fee, and they take all that off. And then whatever that total is what you're getting for the doll. I guarantee you it won't be $267 unless you sell a $400 doll or something like that. But right now my dolls are on sale for 40% off, I think. So they're like, whatever it comes to, $220 is what I'm charging. So see, I'm going to lose money if I sell Anna. And so she is up for sale. And so I'll be in the negative when she sells. And so this is something that you keep for records. See, I keep a record of every doll like this. And when I get my invoice in, I just open up the invoice. I don't think this is an invoice, it's something else. But and I make a sheet out for each doll on that invoice. And like this is Anna, I give them a number. She's number 115. So on my invoice, I'll wherever Anna, it'll say Anna and what I paid for, and I'll write 115 besides Anna. I keep cross references so that, like, if I did, I know what an audit's like, so it's tough. You need something to show, you know, and so this is just something to show them. This is what it cost me to make that doll. This is what I sold it for. I even print out the little printout that eBay shows you the breakdown. I print that out and I just staple it to this when it sells. And it shows the entire breakdown, what you sold the doll for, everything. And so you can go, here's the doll, I sold it for this, and this is what it cost, and here's the reference numbers to the invoices and all that, so that they can see, okay, that makes sense to me, you know. You want it to make sense. And so this is what I was talking about when I said it costs more than you think it did. You have to even take into consideration that you use some kind of a doll that you paid money for your test kit. And you buy tape, you buy just so many things. It's so many things that you're not, I guarantee you're not thinking of everything. I don't even think I thought of everything. Oh, hair and needles too. If you're breaking a lot of needles, you know, when you first start rooting hair, this is why I tell people buy cheap hair when you're learning, and do it on dolls that you learned on so that you're not messing up the dolls that you want to sell. And then just donate them, you know, just donate them. And then you don't have to worry about, I can't get anything for that doll because the hair's sloppy or whatever, you know. Because when you first start rooting a doll, it's going to be harder to root it. And you're going to end up using a lot more hair than you really need to. I see people all the time in the baby group using really long hair to root their doll, and then they're just cutting like 3/4 of it off and throwing it away because you can't bundle it back up to use again. It just doesn't work. And I keep telling them, why are you using such long hair? You can use much shorter hair and you don't have to cut so much off and throw it away. And I'm just having trouble rooting short hair. Well, I don't see how. It roots the same on the end you're using. I don't know. They just have trouble with it. And I know I was using longer hair when I first started too. I don't know why, because that's what I saw other people doing, I guess. But if you're penciling on hair, well, you're going to need pencils for stuff anyway. I just have a lot of pencils because I bought, like, I wanted red pencils so I could do capillaries. I didn't know what color red I really wanted, so I bought 4 or 5 different colors of red. Same thing with purples and blues and all the colors. The only colors that I know for sure, and I didn't even know this when I first started, I had to learn this too. What colors do you want to pencil on hair? You know, some people use one flat color, and I think it looks better if you mix the colors a little bit, but that's just me. It's just a preference. But you're not going to know until you try some pencils. Oh, that's too dark. Oh, that one's too light. And, you know, you just have them already because you bought them. And so, I mean, depending on where you bought them, you might have paid $3 a pencil for them, which is outrageous. I get mine from Jerry's Artarama, and they're like $1.39. And if you get 12 pencils total, even mixed up colors, you don't have to get 12 of the same color, just 12 total pencils. They charge you $2.29. It's 10 cents a pencil cheaper. And believe me, when you're buying things, you want to get as many things as cheap as possible or free. That's why I use these. I use these little caps. They come off of water bottles and all kind of drink bottles. I like these clearish looking, real light colored ones better. I do have some bigger ones that are black, but you can't see your paint, and you can't really tell what color it is in these. So, not so good. But these are good. And I mix, when I just have a little bit of paint like I did for these two. This is my scratch paint if I'm going to put a scratch on the baby, and this is my nail tip color. And I put them in this Ziploc bag, this little tiny Ziploc bag that probably sponges came in, or possibly hair. I don't know. But something came in it, so they won't dry out. And because, you know, I'm cheap, and I try to get everything as cheap as possible. I get my sticks. Usually I get them at Walmart, but these sticks came from Dolls by Sandy, and they were in her discontinued stuff. She evidently has other sticks that are more the size of a popsicle stick. These are a little big, and probably they weren't popular, so she put them on clearance for like, I think they were 50 cents, and you get 50 of them. It's like a penny a piece. You can't beat that. And I got these sponges, these really, really dense, hard sponges from Dolls by Sandy too, because you get this whole bag for $2. And these are a few more are in here than they are in here, but this one costs like $5.89 or something. I get it from Amazon. This is the ones you really want to actually paint with. They are softer and they work better to paint with, but I use these to help pounce off the extra paint, and they work fine for that. I try to get everything at a discount. I bought these little bulb syringes. I had bought some from different places like McPherson's or Dolls by Sandy, but they weren't as good as this one. This is a higher quality. These were advertised as medical grade, but they were very cheap. I got a whole big bag of like 100 of them, different sizes. Some of them are this long, some of them are this long, and they suck up a different amount in each one. This has a big bulb on it. It sucks up a lot, so I like it the best. Most of them are this size. And you can see it's really dirty. I didn't clean it. I should have, but I'll just use it for red. But I got like 100 of them. It was like $5 or something. They're just, but the problem with the ones I got from Dolls by Sandy was the seams. See, they're put together in two pieces, and there's a seam that runs all the way down it. And just using it over and over again, quickly, the ones from Dolls by Sandy busted at these seams because they're just glued together with some cheap kind of glue. But these are also put together, but I think they're put together a different way because they're medical grade. I just searched them out on the internet. I just put in bulb syringes, and a lot of choices came up. And so I was reading about them, and these were like better made. So I thought, well, there's a lesser chance that they're going to bust open. I just put them in with my sponges and my brushes in my little jar, and I have one in there if I want to siphon off some of the paint thinner when it's settled, or if I want to siphon off a little bit of the color and put it in another jar to change the color a little bit, you can do that. And they work really well. Plus I ordered my paintbrushes. When I order my paintbrushes, I go online and I look for, some of the places will stop having them. Like there was this place had kitchen in their name. I can't, Country something kitchen, I don't know, but they sold art supplies. I don't know why. Maybe because the people were making their art in their kitchen. I don't know. They didn't sell food, so I don't know. But this is the size I like the best, and they were selling just like 2 of these in a package, and I was buying them for like $5 or something. But then I thought, that's a little bit wasteful to just buy 2 little paintbrushes when you can get the entire set for like $6.99 in another place. Office Depot, not Office Depot, Office Supply has got these. These with the gold handles are the best. These with the purple handles are also good, but they don't have the same kind of brushes. The variety of these brushes is better than the variety of these brushes. All these are either rounds or flats. They don't give you any mop brushes or anything like that. But in this set, they do. These are a little more expensive and harder to find. You can find these everywhere. But anyway, they both work. But, you know, it's your preference on what kind of a brush you want to use, you know. They have all the way down to just the tiniest little brushes that only have a few little hairs in them. I have tons of these little bitty brushes. Bunches and bunches of them, because they just don't hold any paint. Now, if you're painting right now and you were trying to paint a crease, you're going to want to use one of these brushes that don't have very many little bristles in them, like this one. And it's okay because you're dipping it and painting and dipping and painting. But I don't do a lot of painting like that. Most of my painting is with, except when I'm putting layers on, is going to be dry painting. And these just don't hold any paint. So I've got them all stuck over here in a drink a drink cup that I don't have the lid for anymore. I don't know what happened to it, but I just got them stuck in here, some of my extra brushes. This is one of those brushes that you can buy that is totally no good. It's just garbage. I don't even know why I still have it. It's totally no good. Some of these other brushes with these different color handles, this is a Royal and Langnickel as well, but they're just not as good. They're not as good as these Royal and Langnickels. Royal and Langnickel makes really good brushes, and then they make really cheap, no good brushes. I like the ones that say simulated camel hair. It's or faux camel hair, whatever it is they say, I can't remember. But they're called Crafter's Choice, and they come in a huge variety of sizes. You get 15 different brushes in one set, and I really love them. I usually use Gemini paint. I'm almost exclusively heat set. I do have some waterborne coming. I think it's coming today. I'm not sure. But I'm going to get a kit out when it comes, and I'm going to make a kit, provided I'm finished with the ones I'm working on at the time. But the very next kit that I bring up to work on after I finish the ones I've started is going to be a air dry. I want to call it watercolor, but because it's called waterborne, it almost makes you want to say watercolor. But I don't think they're watercolors. I just think they are water-based. It's just like house paint. You can get the regular paint that cleans up with water, and then you can get the oil paint that cleans up with paint thinner. And they both do a great job on painting your house. So, but it's not watercolor just because it's water-based. These are oil-based, and that's why you wouldn't want to add any Exodus oil to your air dry paint, for example. It probably would ruin it. But anyway, I get my jars because I want to seal my paint up, and I'm hoping I can do that with the air dry. I mean to ask my tipster about exactly how to mix it and all that stuff whenever I actually get the paint, and how to prep the kit, all that stuff, so that, you know, I just don't know. I'm kind of nervous about making an air dry doll. I may be working on my air dry doll online while I'm working on a heat set offline, because I understand that you can put layer after layer on without baking, but after a certain amount of painting, I think I understand that you have to wait 24 hours or just overnight or something like that. Maybe 12 hours, I don't know. But I intend to get all that information before I start and explain everything. And I just can't hardly wait to do it. I want to see if I like it. I am considering, because I do bake outside for safety. I'm considering, because it's just so cold in the wintertime, and I'm considering doing air dry in the wintertime. I don't know. I'm just going to see how I like it. I just don't know if I have it in me to fully learn another style of painting. I just don't know. I'm just going to try it out and see how it goes. If I like the doll and it looks good and everything, you know, is great and wonderful, I may do several dolls. You know, I tried that RIT dye dipping thing, and now while I did like the tone of the skin color of the doll, I was unable to make the palms a different color, because you have to dip the whole doll in there. You can't dip everything but the palm of their hand or the sole. You could everything but the sole of their foot, but that'd look funny if the sole of their feet was a different color but the palms of their hands were not, I think, anyway. But I just dipped the whole doll because it was just, I just didn't know any other way to do it. And all the people that had, the place where I got the tip was in my doll group. And the lady that was talking about it said she hadn't figured it out yet either, how to make the palms and the soles of the feet a different color. And so I'm waiting to see if somebody puts up something about it. But I haven't done any more. I did 2 dolls at one time, and I haven't done any more, not because I didn't like the dolls, because I thought they looked really good. I thought their skin tone looked really good. I really don't know how to blush them up the proper way. I need to experiment on it a whole lot more. But, you're using up doll kits when you're doing that. And it's that, I just went over what it costs to make a doll. And, you know, that's another doll kit. You're going, well, I've dyed this doll too, and it doesn't look right. So, okay, it's another doll. I may end up donating the two that I made if they don't sell. I don't even know. Or reducing them. May do that. I don't know. But I don't like reducing my dolls. I think in the long run, it's a bad idea. But when you need a cash flow right now, what else are you supposed to do? You're going to just reduce your doll. That's what you're going to do. That's what everybody does. But here's the thing. If I had it to start over with and go back to the very beginning when I first started making dolls, nobody asks full price for a doll. This is my first doll. I want $600 for it or anything like that. They're going to say like $189 or $200 or something, and then they're going to wait it out. And right now, I don't know if the economy's bad or what, but dolls are just not selling. I have put my dolls on low prices, and they're not moving. Every now and then you will sell a doll. Everybody does every now and then. That's not the problem. The problem is, can I sell my doll in any reasonable length of time for what I want to get for it? What I think I need to get for it? And the answer is no, you're not going to. You're going to wait it out. You're going to have to wait it out. Now, when Christmas rush comes, people are going to be shopping for dolls, but they're going to be looking for the lesser expensive dolls. And there are a group of people, I don't know what you call this group of people, they don't really care if they're lesser quality. They just want to get out cheaper. And they think, well, they look good enough. So those people are probably never going to give you the price you want for your doll anyway. So X those people out. We're talking about people who are looking for dolls of quality. If your doll has any sort of quality, I heard another artist refer to them as sellable dolls. If you make a sellable doll, and it has any kind of hair, she said it should be worth $500. Oh, okay. If you want to wait 6 to 8 months, I have some dolls that have been up for sale for 6 months. But I had cheaper dolls at the same time, so they were buying the cheaper dolls. But a large number of people bought dolls from me when they were cheaper. And I'm talking cheaper. And so now, if they come back to look for another doll and they see my new prices, they're going to go, oh, wait a minute. I got one much cheaper last year. And this is what I'm talking about. By reducing your dolls, people are going to ask you to reduce your dolls. If you're the kind of person who will not accept an offer, will not compromise on your price, you're going to wait it out. People soon learn that. And they know if I want a doll from this person, I'm going to have to pay her price. And so people who really like your dolls and want them will just pay your price. But if you've been reducing for people and you have repeat buyers, and I had a lot of repeat buyers when my dolls were last year. I put all my dolls after Christmas very, very cheap. And I had a lot of repeat buyers. So I'm looking that these people are going to come back this year and they're going to go, wait a minute, this is much higher than last year. Well, these dolls are much better. The ones I was selling last year weren't necessarily made last year. Some of them were made the year before that when I was just learning to root hair. And the hair was not that good. And so therefore you can't really ask people to pay $300 or $400 for a doll that has weird hair, And so, I mean, a lot of the people that bought my dolls go, I can't even believe this doll. They leave feedback, Can't even believe this doll was that cheap and it has rooted hair and everything and it looks good. And I said, okay, maybe it looked better than I thought it did because here I was thinking, okay, this doll doesn't look all that good. I need to go down on the price, That's why it didn't sell. And but anyway, your price is very, very important. instead of going down on your price, just realistically look at your doll. Think about when you were looking at dolls online and how ridiculous some of the prices were. The doll looks like a child made it and they want $600 for it. Ridiculous. Or the doll was extremely beautiful and they only wanted $200 for it. Think about the price versus how does the doll really look. If I was in the market for this for a doll, would this be a price for this quality that I would be willing to pay? Just be super realistic with yourself and say, okay, it has this as a flaw, but this is really good and that's really good. And how noticeable is the flaw? Is it something that the average person who's just looking at your overall doll is going to notice? Now, some people are going to look at every little part of your doll. They're going to just do it like this and look at it. I actually saw a lady do a box opening and she said, okay, now I'm going to check the doll out. The doll was a stunning, amazing doll, beautiful. And she had decided after she looked it over to send it back. She did not say what she paid for it. It could have been an extremely high price. But she was looking like behind the ears, in the mouth, and everywhere like that. And she was going, okay, inside this ear, I can see a little spot where there's no pain. I mean, who looks at their doll that hard? I mean, almost everybody just looks at the overall look of the doll. It's beautiful. It looks great. Okay, I like it, you know. But some people, they really do examine the doll that close. I wouldn't even put it past some people to get out a magnifying glass to examine the doll so they can see every little detail. And so it's just all different. People are different. And so you need to just look at your doll yourself and go, well, okay, this doesn't look exactly good on my doll, this particular feature or whatever. And so therefore I'm going to, instead of making it $400, I'll make it $300 or whatever you decide and stick with it. I'm not going to say that you're never going to want to reduce your dolls. You might run a sale. You might be offering a coupon, you know, whatever, just to bump up your sales a little bit. But every time you discount your doll, you're inviting people who normally wouldn't buy your doll probably to buy your doll. And these people will be people who are going to expect it next time as well. And I've bought dolls on discounts, even kits, really high-priced kits that the seller was selling them for half price. But like it was only for the weekend or something. It's going to be half price for these 3 days and that's it. And then you can go, well, I was going to buy that doll, but it suddenly went off sale. Will you give it to me for the price? No, it's no. And so it's like, sales off, sorry, you know. And you just have to stick to your guns because people will use you and use you and use you to try to get a lower price on their doll. And they'll even try to make you feel guilty, which you shouldn't. Because this is your work. You spent money making this doll. I mean, a lot. You spent a lot of money making the doll. It's a form of art. It's like asking Picasso to go down on his painting, or any other artist, or a sculptor. Will you go half? You know, it's going to be no. And your work of art is important, and it's important to you, and it's important that people respect that you're an artist. I mean, it's important to me. And a lot of people just don't. All they care about is, can I get a better deal? That's all they care about. They don't care about insulting your doll and making you feel bad or pointing out anything they think is a flaw. They don't care about these things. And they'll even say, oh, I see this on the doll. Will you go down to this price? No. This is the price reflects what you see in the doll. That should be your answer. I've priced the doll according to its quality and what I expect to get out of it. I mean, you don't want to be rude, but that's the idea you want to convey to them in a polite way. You want to be able to say, this is my form of art, and it's valuable, and if you don't like it, just don't buy. I mean, you can't say that really in those words, but that's what you're essentially saying. If you don't like it, don't buy it. You know, I'm not in this to swap dolls with you. I'm not in this to uh to go super cheap for you because you're on welfare or something. I mean, I'm sorry that you are on just Social Security or whatever you're on. If you can't afford the doll, I'm sorry, you know. But this is what I have to get for the doll. I mean, you can't say those words. You know what I mean. You have to say things nicely. But essentially, that's what you're trying to get across to them. I'm not willing to sell my doll for that price. And I actually decided now, this is my new policy. I would way, way rather keep my doll than take what I got for him last year, which was way too cheap. But I wanted to move out all those what I called inferior dolls. Not that they were bad. There was nothing wrong with the dolls. They just weren't of top quality. And I'm not saying these are top quality. I'm certainly not a prototype artist or a hyper realistic artist, but my dolls do look good. And so I'm expecting to get a little more money for them than what I got for those other dolls that I called inferior. And I'd rather keep it than sell it for those cheap prices or donate it. I'd much rather donate it. You get such a rewarding feeling from donating a doll. I mean, just think about it. You're going, okay, this doll didn't sell. I was asking $300 for it. I'll go down to $150 and try to sell it. And then if it doesn't sell, I'm going to donate it. Because you're going, $267 to make it. Yeah. But, you know, dolls that I'm going to, I don't really make dolls anymore that I'm specifically going to donate. I used to, because I just donate the ones that don't sell. But before I would go a little cheaper on it. I wouldn't, I mean, if they're going to elderly people, they might even just pull the eyelashes off, you know? They don't even care if they have eyelashes. And I didn't root hair. I penciled the hair. And there was just a lot of I didn't put the magnets in them because I thought maybe they might have pacemakers. You know, it's just you just do them different. But now I just donate dolls that just didn't sell, so they're going to just be the way they were made, you know. And I don't know. It's just different. And whatever you decide your doll is worth, stick to your guns. That's my advice. I'm not going to say never have a sale or after Christmas don't reduce them any. I'm not going to say that because you're going to do what you want to anyway. But my advice is just put a realistic price on your doll. Don't go, okay, I want $400 for my doll and that's just it because it took me this many hours to make it. You can't really do it that way. Some people in one of my doll groups would say things like, it took me 7 hours to make this doll, broke up into days, you know. What should I ask for it? And almost everybody says you can't price your doll that way. The doll is priced usually, this is what most people say is the standard. Whatever it costs you to make the doll, 3 times that. If it has some sort of hair and it's a sellable doll. Now, if it's super splotchy or it has big rashy marks on it where you didn't pounce out the paint or, you know, blaring flaws, you can't ask that much. But if it looks normal and it's, you know, normally made, let's say a normally made doll that doesn't have a lot of blaring flaws, it's usually 3 times what it costs you to make it. That would make this doll $750. But there's no way. I'm not waiting that out. That'd take a year probably to sell it. And so I just try to be reasonable. Most of my dolls are $400. And some artists wouldn't even get out of bed to make a $400 doll. They just wouldn't do it. This one lady told me she got $1,600 for her dolls. And she compared herself to Jackie Kramer, for heaven's sakes, who gets $3,500 for a doll. And she makes prototype dolls for different companies. Beautiful. Very, very super, hyper realistic looking dolls. And she said the reason she couldn't get $3,500 was because she wasn't as known. And it does matter if you're known. But people mostly are going to look at how your doll looks. Does it look good? And if it looks good, doesn't mean they're going to buy it. Especially if there's another one they think looks basically the same and it's cheaper. So you have to consider the The market for dolls right now is kind of low. People aren't really buying. I'm on my pre-Christmas sale, and it's going to be ending probably early in October. And they won't be as cheap then. So I put it in the listing. If you want a doll for this price, you better get it while it's, get them while they're hot, because they're not going to be hot all the time. And people just, they don't believe you. And they'll come back and they'll ask you later, 2 months after the sale's off. You did used to have this doll for this price. Can I have it for this price now? No. Now it has 17 watchers and it's in 4 people's carts, and no. You know, to me, if somebody puts it in their cart, that means they want the doll real bad. They're thinking about buying it, or they're waiting for their check to come so they can buy it, or something like that. And they put it in their cart. I used to do this so that when it got time to buy it, they could snatch it up real quick without somebody else getting it first. Like if you drop the price or something, it's already in my cart. Boom, I just buy it, and I can beat other people. But other people do the same thing. But anyway, that's the end of this. I just made it to demonstrate to you that you're spending a lot more money than you think making your dolls. And unless you run a sheet like this with realistic figures that you sort of planned out, like, you're not going to really know exactly how much Exodus oil you used. But, you just can go, I bought this such and such time, I've made this many dolls in that time, and now I'm out, so divide that price by that many dolls. That's how I did it. I didn't actually note down any certain amounts that I used. I just squeezed it into all my paints, and that's just all I do. But, different things like that, I only put down $1.99 for Exodus oil. That's hardly anything. But anyway, that's the end of this video, and I hope that it's helpful for somebody to help in pricing their dolls. People are always asking, what should I price my doll? And all these factors that I've mentioned play a part in what kind of price you're going to be able to get for your doll. The market, how good is your doll, what did you spend making it, all these things. What are you putting in the box with the doll? Things like that. But anyway, I hope it was informative for y'all. I hope that y'all took away something you could use in pricing your dolls once you've made them. And I'm going to ask everybody to please like, subscribe, and share. And happy reborning.